After a slightly disappointing night of crawfish head sucking at Old Wang's Lobster Hall, we went on a hunt for more of the mudbugs, which are called 小龙虾 in Chinese, literally little lobster. This quest took us to 文和友龙虾馆, the 文和友 Lobster Hall. The brand is based in a superstar of Changsha, the capital of Hunan province. Other than full-service restaurants like this, they have snack stands that sell Changsha's famous Stinky Tofu. We even saw one of their food carts as far north as Harbin. Wenheyou also operates the bubble tea chain Mama Cha. We visited one of their mega restaurants in Changsha a few years ago. It was the last meal of the trip, and boy, what a finale. The store has several floors, and it was like a time travel machine that transported us to a Changsha from several decades ago. This branch in Suzhou's Guanqianjie is the first Wenhe友龙虾馆in East China. It covers only one floor and is unexpectedly small, but retains the same throwback ambience, including the old school metal mugs. I also remember these aprons with pocket at the bottom to catch trickling sauces. What sauce, you ask? That sauce. We ordered the signature crayfish, but instead of a signature Hunan seasoning, it was actually mala, numb and spicy style that originated from Sichuan area. You can see the honghuajiao red Sichuan pepper that imparts the distinct tingling numbness. Although the flavor intensity was toned down since we're in Suzhou, it did capture the essences of mala, and the most important thing was quality ingredients. Even the claws had plenty of meat. And instead of the mushy booties that we experienced at Old Wang's, these fat tails came out in whole. We purchased some pre-packed Wenheyou crayfish through the internet not long ago. The ones we had at the restaurant were the deluxe option, so they were enormous compared to these little guys. But again, it was easy to pull out entire tails, and so again, ingredient was quality. We had some stinky tofu as well, which came ready to eat in individual packs. They were neither crunchy nor flaky, and tasted more like stinky and spicy dougan or dry tofu, which is firm. Lastly, we ended with Hokkaido cheesecake. Maybe I'll talk about my travels there someday, but for now, back to Hunan bean curd. The packaged stinky tofu did absolutely no justice to the real deal. We should have shells that are black due to the fermented black soybeans in the fermentation brine and that are crispy from deep frying. Also, the distinctly stinky and savory juice should ooze out with every bite. Among the 6 stinky tofus we had over a span of 5 days in Changsha a few years ago, 2 were from Wenheyou, one on the street and one in the restaurant. Here in Suzhou, the strength of the condiments were dialed down just like the other dishes, but the symbolic odor was there and it stank, but in a good way, like blue cheese. Speaking of blue cheese, some people compare blue cheese to the Chinese century egg due to the pungent flavor. Here we had 雷辣椒皮蛋, crushed chili pepper, and century egg. Century egg, Hunan style. Mash the peppers with the century egg, crush them together to blend the flavors. The 雷椒 mashed pepper is a very unique Hunan style. It is supposedly an intangible cultural heritage. And how did I know this? We went to a store in Changsha that specialized in this mash method, although that meal wasn't as hands-on. The jiaobo ceramic bowl is an intangible cultural heritage of Anren, where local folks make a kind of crushed chili pepper called 豆辣子. The basic objective is to release the essences of the ingredients, similar to the duojiao chopped chilies method popular in Hunan, Guizhou, etc. But since the chili peppers here aren't too spicy, you could still clearly discern the mildly ammonia-like flavor in the yolk of the century egg. Another familiar Hunan dish was this 烤味冬瓜, tasty winter gourd. Using the term 烤味 as a dish name modifier this way is mostly a Hunan thing, but the definition is unclear. It roughly means tasty from the perspective of Hunan locals, so naturally that'd be spicy. For example, local-style crayfish is referred to as 烤味虾, tasty crayfish, so this 烤味冬瓜 was also spicy, though not nearly as hot as the same dish we had at Yijiandang back in Changsha. Yet another familiar Hunan cuisine icon was 辣椒炒肉, pork stir-fried with chilies. This is a common home-cooked dish throughout China, but it's most notable in Hunan and is also known as 小炒肉 in most cases. I think it could be considered one of the Chinese people's top 下饭菜, rice accompaniment dish, and it was awesome even without rice. Lastly, the 老长沙韵味花甲, old Changsha style clams. So let's check this out. The garlic smells fantastic. I'm a big fan of such garlic heavy taste, but it didn't have much Hunan feel. It's like a high quality version of clams grilled in foil, a common dish available at many seafood barbecues. General portions were not small, but the 2 of us destroyed everything. We were joined by friends of ours later, a couple and their baby boy, and we ordered a whole bunch of other stuff, like garlic crawfish, which were also easy to peel. Just like a few years ago in Changsha, after the meal there was an even larger crowd outside. But unlike a few years ago in Changsha, this meal wasn't as impressive. Though it still satisfied our cravings for crayfish and Hunan foods, and Wenhe Yo remains a top dog in my book. 再见